All right, we're back. Audio issues should be fixed. I tested it right before we recorded. Everything should be good.
It'll be glorious.
However, I'm still sick, so my voices are still going to be off. I'm sorry.
I am sure things will go okay.
Hopefully people will forgive me.
I will forgive you.
You shouldn't.
I will.
We need to turn down the TV even more. Is that good? I think... let's turn it down just a little bit more. How about? Like just 2 more. Yeah, there we go. That's a good skosh. Anyway. Oh, right. We sent them all off to die.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Excellent. After we chased them out, nobody wanted to say anything. All of the suspicious ones had been driven away. Even though we knew there might be some innocence among them, we still did it. We chased them out of this paradise where people don't have to suspect each other. But our motive for chasing them out was a suspicion of one person towards another, the worst kind of crime for a human. Is that the worst kind of crime? Well, I guess maybe for Battler.
I mean, in a sense, like prejudice and so on.
I understand.
More generally, maybe.
If we had accepted the existence of a 19th person, of the witch, then we all still might be talking face to face, trusting in each other. In that instant, we had agreed to chase out all the suspicious people. Had that been the right thing to do? During this endless silence, we could do nothing but be quietly tormented by that sin. Aunt Natsuhi faced the door without letting go of her rifle for even an instant, sitting far back in the sofa. She would probably spend the night staring at the door without a wink of sleep.
Like I usually do.
George Aniki gazed through a gap in the closed curtains by the window, looking down at the courtyard and the mansion that surrounded it. I didn't know whether he was checking to see if a suspicious shadow would become visible through the window, or whether he was wondering to himself about something. Jessica was sitting sideways on the sofa next to Aunt Natsuhi, with a dead expression on her face. And every once in a while, as though she'd just remembered something, she'd take out the inhaler she had used during her asthma attack and stick it in her mouth.
Yum.
I don't think you used them. I just heard it from Aniki, but apparently Jessica liked Kankun. Aww. Aww. Poor Jessica. It's apparently so vague that she hadn't realized it herself. You know, the kind of thing other people tend to spot the person before the person in question realizes it. Which means she might have first learned of her feelings when the person she liked died.
Ooh.
Must have been so terrible. So sad.
Indeed.
Come to think of it, Kankun was the one who handed her that inhaler. Maybe she was remembering that. How are there 7 more chapters of this?
I know, right?
It feels like everyone's going to be dead.
Very soon by the end of this chapter.
Right? Like, okay, I get they're all going to get resurrected when we get to the Golden Land and all, which, you know, that'll be great. But it feels like this is just Act 1, and then this is like the setup. All of this is just the setup and introduction, and then the real mystery is going to get dropped in like next.
Maybe chapters 2 through 8 are in the Golden Land. We don't know.
Maybe. I was fishing around Grandfather's study, thinking I'd research the meaning of the magic circle on the second letter sheet.
Smart.
Battler can be smart on occasion. Even though we were shut up in here in a defensive position, my rebellious nature made me want to find some key, some way to resist. After all, we've got plenty of time before tomorrow morning. Who could fault me for how I used that time? No one else showed that much interest in this magic circle. Its meaning was unknown, and once we understood it, we were sure to find some message that would cause us unnecessary anguish.
I love unnecessary anguish.
I mean, he's right about, confirmation bias?
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah. I felt the same way. However, I couldn't just ignore it, so I killed time by going through the motions of researching it.
You sure are enthusiastic.
No, I'm depressed. Very similar, though.
Did you find anything that might serve as a hint?
Not a thing. The first tough part is finding a book written in Japanese. Just how many languages could Grandfather read? He's incredible.
Aren't you tired, Battler-kun?
I don't know, you're acting all really nice all of a sudden. Very suspicious. Like you're about to, like, I don't know.
You should take a rest while someone else stays away.
Who, that someone else being you?
Aunt Natsuhi said she'd stay up all night for us, but there's no way her body can handle that. We should take turns sleeping and, holding the gun.
What gun? There's a gun? Who had a gun? Then you sleep first, Aniki. I'll keep researching till I get sleepy.
You mean that magic circle just now?
Yeah. We got plenty of time to kill. Thought it'd be interesting to find out what kind of message Beatrice-sama put in it.
Give it a rest. Mess around with stuff like that, and you'll end up getting possessed by something weird. I should know. Did I just say that?
Don't worry. I've been certified by Maria. She said I've got no spiritual talent at all. I mean, at a minimum, even if they don't believe that Beatrice is real, they still think that they still were able to find messages in the magic circles being sent to them, which means whoever was obfuscating Beatrice and creating those magic circles was doing so with intention.
Indeed.
So it's still worth the even if you don't believe in Beatrice, it's still worth the time to
investigate.
Yeah. Were we too cruel to Maria?
Oh, that was Jessica.
Oh, sorry. Jessica, you mustn't think of that now.
Wait,
damn it.
Talking to who? This is so hard.
Jessica, okay, so this is Jessica.
But Mom, if Maria wasn't involved and there's a culprit besides her, then she's obviously a soft target for the murderer. If she's killed because of this, then we've just left her to die.
A gloomy silence settled once again. Looked like Jessica regretted letting her emotions take a hold of her and snapping at Maria. She's always been like that, ever since she started the E. Acting tough and regretting it later.
I understand how you feel, but Maria was in close contact with the culprit, and she might have been siding with them, talking like that over and over to further confuse matters. I am relieved that we chased them out.
That's pretty harsh, Aunt Natsuhi. Couldn't it have just been the nonsense of a 9-year-old girl? Probably wasn't very convincing to hear that coming from me. I myself thought Maria was creepy on several occasions, even doubting her true nature. And when Maria was chased out of this room, I couldn't deny I'd felt some relief.
If that is the case, then tomorrow we will apologize for what we did. I will take full responsibility for chasing them out of this room. This isn't something the rest of you have to worry about.
I could feel a tragic determination in Aunt Natsuhi's words. Her eyes were filled with resolve? Something? I don't know, a word will come to me. To protect her own daughter, she had resolutely chased out the suspicious ones. And if, as a result, she had to watch the people who had unfortunately be suspected die, so be it. She was prepared to take full responsibility. Also, I apologize for the mouth noises, but I got a lozenge so I can actually, talk. Why does Maria have to keep saying stuff like that? She's bringing about her own ruin.
I think the reason Maria-chan adores witches and magic so much might be Aunt Rosa.
Aunt Rosa? What does she have to do with this?
Didn't you realize it too, Battler-kun?
No.
Maria-chan's real father ran off somewhere a long time ago.
Well, yeah.
Although Aunt Rosa tried to confuse the issue by saying he's on a foreign business trip.
Like, we've known that her father isn't in the picture.
Father's on an undersea aircraft carrier hunting squid.
Even if that did exist, they wouldn't use it for that.
Talking about Rosa-san's family has become a kind of taboo in the Ushiromiya family.
Okay, I was worried it was going to be something else, and I'm like, oh shit, am I going to feel dumb?
What if it is something else, though? What if we are supposed to doubly suspect Rosa? What if cluing us in on that suspicion is the first clue toward a deeper suspicion?
Maybe.
I think Aunt Rosa thought about remarrying.
I just realized I only voiced one of the characters in this scene. Thank God.
But I also believe Maria-chan may have become... become her shackles and made that quite difficult. After all, she sometimes got really emotional and hit Maria-chan. I agree with you there. It looked like Aunt Rosa was trying hard to like Maria, which means that she didn't really like her. She must have thought of Maria as someone who stood in the way of her remarrying. I think that emotional rejection from her mother must have left some deep scars on her young heart. So she learned about this occult hobby from somewhere and immersed herself in it to bury the holes in her heart. Did you know? To Maria-chan, the image of a witch isn't negative at all. Remember yesterday at the beach when she showed us her notebook?
Robert Jessica.
Yeah. It was full of all those fun-looking scribbles.
Yesterday when we were down by the beach, doubting the witch, Maria got all riled up and started explaining about witches. And not one of the pages had shown a picture of an ugly witch. They were brightly colored, beautiful, cute witches who looked like they were having fun. There was absolutely nothing sinister about them, like a boy might have imagined. They were beings adorned with beautiful dresses who could grant anyone's dreams with their mysterious magic, and who could have made everyone happy. Maria felt the sorrow of not being loved by her mother, and she sought help from witches as beings who could give her happiness and save her. Someday a witch would come, and using her wonderful magic would bring Maria happiness. Even though she believed that. As she grew older, she had to face reality as her fleeting dreams were sliced to ribbons one by one. If something claiming to be the witch of Rokkenjima appeared in front of a girl like that, whispering that she'd take Maria to the Golden Land, where Maria could be happy.
Now that it's come to this, I want to confess what's in my heart. Throwing out Maria-chan, no, Genji-san and the rest too, was probably the wrong thing to do, I think. It wasn't pleasant.
Since Jessica had been the one to face them and slam them with words of rejection, her conscience must be tormenting her a lot right now.
Then, how do y'all explain that letter? No one could have said it there except the 4 people standing behind us. I made sure of that with my own eyes. If those 4 are innocent, how was that letter placed in a closed room with 8 people?
Are they about to throw Aunt Natsuhi out?
They slowly throw everyone out except for Battler, who's like, no. Wait, what if I'm the killer? Oh, fuck!
Oh, no! I don't want to kill anyone! That's right. When you put it that way, those 4 really do seem suspicious. But it's all useless. It's all useless.
Useless? What is?
Right. Might not be worth anything anymore, but let me spin the chessboard around again. In other words, if one of those 4 really was the culprit, isn't that weird?
That's right. Wasn't setting that letter openly on the table the same as confessing that one of them was the culprit?
Not really. I mean, I don't think any of them expected to get caught that quickly.
Unless they did. Unless the purpose was specifically to manipulate everybody to leave so they could kill more.
Yeah, maybe.
You're right, that's weird. If they were gonna do it, you'd think they'd put it in the crack of the door, for example, to make it look like someone had slipped it in from the outside.
Oh.
Of course, they should have known that they'd be suspected if they didn't make it look like the culprit was outside the room.
Yeah, that's exactly. Culprit was one of those 4. Setting that letter in the middle of the table would be both risky and meaningless. But putting aside whatever trick was used to set it there, if we assume the culprit is someone other than those 4, in other words, someone who was outside the room, then they had a lot to gain from that letter.
Enough, Battler-kun.
I do like how Battler-kun is at turns both very insightful and very prone to grinding his gears and spinning wheels over.
Yeah.
Like, he will get stuck in the mud. If you let him go, he'll just sit there like an RV and, you know, and in the mud, just kind of like not getting anywhere.
That's what it'll be. Chapters 2 through 6 will be him spinning in circles on this same thing, and then chapter 8 will be finding the killer. It's meaningless to discuss such matters now.
Natsuhi-san quickly guessed what I was getting at. No, maybe she had thought of it long before I had, and had simply held her tongue. Culprits outside the room, then they'd be totally stuck at the moment we shut ourselves up in a closed room like this. That's right. Same as my theory about how grandfather disappeared from this room, isn't it? That theory that grandfather had left the room of his own accord. The culprit used some tactic to lure him out, and grandfather left of his own accord, then... Come to think of it, when we found the scorpion magic circle and the doorknob to the study, Maria said it herself. Beatrice couldn't get through this door, but she could induce someone to leave of their own accord.
Which would mean we fell for the culprit's trap completely and sent out some new potential sacrifices.
Yep, you sure did. You sure did.
Genji and the rest aren't fools, unlike me. When they try to protect themselves, they should find the next safest place after this room. They will definitely be able to hide themselves there.
No one is... Have they just completely forgotten about the secret room that only she knows about?
I don't think
That
so.
has the gold in it?
I'm sure that will come up at some point.
Okay. It's still on my mind. Aunt Natsuhi hadn't answered the question. Aunt Natsuhi herself had realized that the culprit wasn't in our group back then. That letter would make sense as a trap. However, it wasn't worth the risk of calling back the people she had once thrown out. To Aunt Natsuhi right now, her greatest and only duty was to protect the children. By her thinking, in order to do that, a few sacrifices were unavoidable. Hey, Aunt Natsuhi. Let me say something a little harsh, okay? At that time, what if, by coincidence, Jessica had also been standing behind you? Would you have chased Jessica from the room too? It's true that a lot of brutal things have happened. But as a mother, you thought you should protect your daughter no matter what. Because of that duty, you chased them out, even though you knew that you'd eventually be held responsible for it. It's not like I'm condemning that, but, just thinking about what a great mother Jessica has.
Aww. That's right. You've been dealing with these incidents since morning, and you've been pulling all of us along this whole time without losing your composure.
Well, it's awfully kind of you to say that.
If you were all confused too, the rest of us would probably be in the culprit's grasp by now.
Right?
So I think we all have to thank you.
Have we... No one's brought up that Natsuhi could have been the one to place the letter, right?
Absolutely. She could have been the one who placed the letter and could have been the one who killed Kinzo.
Yeah.
But could not have been the one who killed Cannon. Right?
I believe there were people... Yeah, okay.
Because we knew where she was then.
Even, like, but I'm just saying that even by her own logic, she, you know, like, I think we said this last episode, she was the one with the gun.
Yeah.
So she got to make the rules, but no one pointed out that it could have also been her.
Thank you.
Makes me feel better about what I'm about to do to you.
So what you two are trying to say is that you want her to act as Maria's mother too?
What?
I'm not ready to adopt.
Wait, what? Did that come from nowhere?
No, I think it's the trying to be like, hey, here's why you probably shouldn't throw a kid out to die.
Ah.
I always thought of Maria as a real little sister and adored her. And yet, a few things happened, we got a little confused, and I've said a lot of mean things to her, hurting her. Mom, please, let's stay together with Maria. No, everyone. There was no culprit among us. The culprit in this case is the witch, Beatrice, okay? So, let's stop suspecting each other.
That's a hard 180. And also, I think at this point, if you let them back in, the point would be moot.
Yep.
Aunt Natsuhi closed her eyes for a short while. Was she coping with her throbbing headache again, or was she thinking of something?
You are My precious daughter, the one I finally received a whole 12 years after I married my husband. I would become the worst kind of demon to protect you.
That was some...
In fact, I will.
So, bad news, y'all. That was some pretty strong language at the end there. Although, that would also mean that she was at least complicit in the killing of her own husband.
Mm-hmm.
Which, given how she's phrased it, finally received 12 years after I married my husband, I think she would also feel that same level of affection for her husband as well.
Though she did get pretty harshly rejected by him.
That's true. Yeah, I was kind of an asshole.
Past tense.
She realized very well that her words were an idealized view of what a mother should be. But even so, she was strongly resolved to protect her daughter, even if she had to become a demon. She can be your angle.
The demon bomb next door.
But that was her guilty conscience tormenting her. Today's been so long. So many things happened in one day, and we've been driven into a corner so thoroughly. Wonder if we have the right to greet tomorrow with the way we are now. There it is. I found it. It's this magic circle. Inside the book I've been flipping through, I had found the same magic circle that had been drawn on the second sheet of the letter. George Aniki peered at it as well. This magic circle's name was the Third Magic Circle of Mars. The Hebrew written on it was from Psalm 77, verse 13 of the Old Testament. What God is so great as our God? The meaning of this magic circle was discord.
Ha! Ha!
I like that it seems like it could easily work, but it could also just be a random pick that they are assigning meaning to. Nice.
And it also could be something that literally a spell was cast to make them fight amongst themselves and throw people out. Or it could be that it was chosen by the person who placed it, somebody who knows about it. Say Genji, who has lived with Kinzo for so long, or Maria, who's obsessed with this stuff, deliberately for the purpose of rubbing it in and making it seem like it was a witch.
Agitate internal divisions and cause the enemy to bring about their own downfall. Wait a sec. Seriously? Could there be a more fitting way to describe our current situation and mental state? We couldn't help but be stunned into silence.
So, this letter was a trap? How did they place it here? There wasn't anyone in this room except the 8 of us, right?
Anyway, let's ignore how they got it in here for now. The culprit was after just one thing. Just one thing, Your Honor. Just one thing. They wanted to spread the seeds of doubt inside this impregnable room and use us to throw sacrificial sheep out.
In that case, they're after the people who went out of the room. Mom, what should we do? Those 4 are in danger.
It wasn't surprising that Aunt Natsuhi remained unpleasantly silent. Even if this was all a trap by the culprit, even if the 4 who had been chased out of the room were in danger, it had nothing to do with the safety of the 4 people in here. And there was no way to prove the innocence of the 4 people we'd chased out. If we were willing to let them die, we shouldn't leave this room, no matter what. That way is safest. At that time, suddenly the piercing sound of a phone rang through the room. It was the antique extension phone set on the table in Grandfather's study. It had rung right after we started talking about the letter being a trap. It was natural to think of it as an SOS from the ones we chased out. But then Aunt Natsuhi spoke.
Why a phone call? The phones should be broken down and unusable.
That is true. Wait, were they all phones all broken and unusable? Or was it just they didn't have outside access?
I don't remember.
I thought it was that they couldn't get access outside the island. That doesn't matter if that's Maria calling for help.
If the problem with the phones was the culprit's work in the first place, then this call is probably...
That one sentence, the ring of the phone, which had once sounded like a scream for help, now started to sound like a ghastly lure from some unknown person.
Answer it, answer it.
Which? Aunt Natsuhi hesitated over whether to pick up the receiver.
Let's pick it up, Aunt Natsuhi. The phones might have been fixed for some reason, so I guess they were broken. It could still be an urgent call from Maria-chan and the rest, unless he's wrong. That's right. And if it actually is a call from the culprit, bring it on. Why don't we listen to what they gotta say? It's just a phone call. No matter what they babble through the receiver, it's not like it's gonna hurt you.
Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring.
Phone call, phone call.
If you don't pick it up, then I will.
I will take it. Hello?
I stretched out my hand to take the receiver, but Aunt Natsuhi grabbed it before I could reach. We all held our breath, trying to figure out who the person at the other end of the phone was. But for a while, Aunt Natsuhi just kept saying, hello? Silent phone call. There's no way Maria and the others would do something so creepy. Which means, could this phone call possibly really be? Aunt Natsuhi stopped repeating hello and strained her ears, because she thought she heard something far away on the other end of the receiver. What was that?
Huh? Is someone singing?
Kagome kan. Oh wait, no, wait. Whoops.
Wrong game.
Wrong game.
What do you mean, singing? I don't know. Faintly from the other end of the phone, I can hear someone singing. I wonder what it could be.
Give it here for a sec. Hello? Interrobang? I half forced the receiver from the stunned Aunt Natsuhi's hand and pressed it against my ear. At first I didn't hear anything, but because I had been told about it beforehand, I noticed. It sounded far away from the receiver rather than someone speaking in a quiet voice, and it sounded like a girl singing a song. That voice did sound like a Maria's, but that just made the situation even more inexplicable. At the very least, the one who had made the phone call hadn't been Maria. After all, Maria was singing some song far away from the receiver. In that case, the one who made the call would have been Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, or Dr. Nanjo. And yet they weren't saying anything. Why? For what reason? The person who made this phone call, who was it? Hey! Hello? Who is it? Answer me. I'm the protagonist. Is that Maria singing? Answer me.
What's happening? What is it?
I don't know. All I can say is, it's probably a trap and Maria's in trouble. Aunt Natsuhi took the receiver again, but after yelling it into it several more times, she realized that she wasn't getting anywhere and hung up. After that, she dialed quickly. Then she clicked her tongue. That's right, if the phones were working, we should be able to reach the police. Good, quick thinking, Aunt Natsuhi.
Yeah.
Judging by Aunt Natsuhi's reaction, the outside telephone line still didn't connect. That's what it is. Okay, yeah, so it was... They can't connect outside, but like if there was an internal line.
Let's go. Even if we know it might be a trap, we have to go.
No, you don't. You don't. I mean, you really don't. Believe it or not, you don't have to go. Yeah, definitely. Jessica, Aunt Natsuhi, stay here. When Aniki and I tried to dash out, Aunt Natsuhi stopped us.
Hold it. Take this. I cannot let you go alone. Take this. It's dangerous to go alone.
No, I got it. I got it.
I will go too. Jessica, wait here. Oh no, is Jessica gonna be the one that dies?
No, she's protesting immediately after.
Okay. What, so I'll be the only one left out? Nice try, but I'm going to.
You don't have to go. You knew her dying was gonna be part of the consequences when you threw her out there. This is just telling you something you already know. What? You don't have to. Yeah, it might be better that way. The goal of that phone call was to split us up further. It wouldn't be a good idea to leave someone to watch this room. I don't think it was to get you out of there. Clearly.
Maybe. There's no time to argue. Let's all go.
You dumbasses. I like how they're both at turns very insightful and smart and very dumb. Aunt Natsuhi raised the rifle and took the lead. I couldn't go unarmed myself. I found a 3-pronged candle stand and readied it. Although the pins on it used to fit candles were short, it's almost like a 3-pronged spear.
It was Battler in the foyer with the candlestick.
Stop it. Then the four of us left the study. We left the study, which should have been the safest place inside the mansion. Yeah, no. No shit, dog. By doing this, we've been lured out, even though we had barricaded ourselves in a safe, closed room. Perhaps we were doing exactly the same thing Grandfather had done when he disappeared from that room.
Come to think of it, it would be really easy to lure Grandfather out.
Yeah, just be
and
like,
anyone in the family would know how.
Beatrice, right over there.
Yeah, Beatrice is knocking at the front door. Come down.
Can you take this one?
Maria, where are you? Answer me.
Hopefully they'll stay in a party at least. I listened closely but didn't hear anything. The mansion was vast, and since the passing typhoon was making its last stand, the sound of the rain was even noisier than before.
Maria-chan said she wanted to watch TV in the parlor, right?
I know the backgrounds are mostly done for artistic and not like meant to place their character models exactly there. But think about how tall George would be to be showed up right about there, I guess.
Or he's awkwardly crouching.
Yep.
Let's try going downstairs.
Wait, you should know where all the phones in this house are.
Yeah.
Not Aunt Natsuhi.
That's right. Let's try there. Everyone, be mindful of your surroundings.
So, at the end of the last chapter, we moved forward to about 11, right?
Yeah.
So this could conceivably be the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah! Gotta get one in. With Aunt Natsuhi in the center, her rifle readied and finger on the trigger, we moved in a group, our backs together, checking our surroundings in all directions. So the magic of that magic circle designed to spread discord had worked. We had split up and furthermore had been dragged out into the dangerous territory. No shit! Duh! In other words, even now, we were doing just what the culprit wanted us to do. This was a separate world where it wouldn't be odd for anything to suddenly occur. Aunt Natsuhi nervously pointed the barrel of a gun at every dark spot and shadow. It felt like that motion was out of fear rather than caution, but the rifle she held in her hand should have been a trump card that the culprit feared.
You know, I've been thinking.
Are guns really that scary?
It wouldn't be impossible to stick one of those ice picks into someone's chest, like in Kennen-kun's case, but splitting the skull and sticking them into the forehead, like in my parents' case, wouldn't be that easy.
I'm surprised no one investigated it. Cannon went to all the trouble of fucking pulling it out with like his dying breath so they could investigate it, and no one did.
Yeah.
Like, I guess fuck you, Cannon. I guess. You think the culprit had that kind of animal strength?
They probably had some kind of weapon, like, you know, a strange voice that gave them super strength.
I don't know anything about that.
Or a device that can shoot or pound in those ice picks. That handle was too short to be driven in that deeply by a human strength alone.
Why are we talking about this now?
Either way, they have enough force to break through a skull.
Thankfully, I have a gun.
I heard Cannon's wound reached as far as his lungs. If you happen to see your opponent, don't go forwards. You mustn't move away from my back.
At least they're being smart about moving together in a group. Just how sinister and frightening was the weapon that could shoot these creepy ice picks?
They look at the rifle and see it's loaded with ice picks.
I can explain. And could I do anything to combat it with just this candle stand in my hand? In the first murder, the culprit probably assaulted all four of our parents at once as they, discussed the inheritance problem in the dining hall. And there were four of us here now. Apparently I wasn't the only person thinking this. George Aniki, Jessica, and of course Aunt Natsuhi were stretching their senses to the utmost limit, in the highest and worst state of tension, slowly advancing one step, then another. What have we done? Because of the seeds of doubt spread by that one letter, we threw Maria and the rest in the middle of this terrifying world. They're gonna get there. Maria's just watching TV. I love SpongeBob. Patrick. We finally reached the first floor. The parlor was just across the hall. God, I'm gonna feel so nice when I'm done being runny, all-nose runny.
Yeah.
When we listened carefully, we could hear it faintly. Maria's eerie singing voice. She wasn't singing naturally as though she were in a good mood. She was singing mechanically, like she was at a graduation ceremony and she had been ordered to. Oh, that's an important distinction to make, actually.
So everybody else is dead. She's still alive and is singing because the witch asked her to.
Or it's possessing her or something like that. No, just that the theme song. It's very weirdly mechanical. Got panned by a lot of reviewers. The song she sang was just a common folk song. One that everyone has probably sung in school at one time or another. But why that in the middle of the night, alone, with all her heart, over and over? Why? Right after leaving the study, we called out loud in loud voices, asking Maria where she was. But this time, no one said even a single word. We hid our breath in the sound of our footsteps and intensely focused on our surroundings to the point of being completely high-strung. We stepped forward. The door to the parlor was closed. We could hear Maria's singing voice through it. Aunt Natsuki put her hand on the handle of the doorknob when George Aniki stopped her. I'll open the door. Aunt Natsuki, Battle-kun, ready your weapons.
Wait.
And then get on the floor. You thought I wasn't going to do it.
Understood. Take care. They might attack as soon as we open it. George Nissan, watch yourself. Sure. Then I'll open it. Huh?
He tried to open it, but then immediately felt the hard resistance of the lock. Aunt Natsuki took the bundle of keys from her pocket and gave them to George. There were about 10 keys and none of us had a clue which was which. Because of this, George had to fumble around loudly to test several of the keys. Since we had hidden our footsteps preparing to make a surprise attack in the room, this felt almost fatal. The whole time we could hear Maria's voice from the parlor, singing the same song over and over, like a broken, crazy cassette tape.
What if it is a cassette tape?
I mean, that's probably what it is, right? Because if she hasn't... Either she's possessed and nothing they do is going to stop that, right? Or it's just a recording of her voice. Because, oh, there's the TV in the parlor!
Yeah.
Yeah! We'd been in that room almost constantly since morning, all the frightening things that occurred outside that room. They hadn't mentioned having a radio, right?
Yeah.
But a radio wouldn't be out of place in this time, right?
It wouldn't.
That left us with the impression that only this room was safe. That baseless impression was quickly falling apart.
Ugh, it's open. Thank you. George-kun, Jessica, move behind me.
Aunt Natsuki, let's jump in at the same time and split up in different directions. If we just stand around after opening the door, those ice picks might fly right through the center.
I agree. Ready?
I really wish I could say no. I readied myself. They're gonna be throwing ice picks, I'll whack them with this candle stand.
Standal?
Standal. There you go.
Go.
Aunt Natsuki and I rammed into the door before flying into the parlor, quickly splitting up and left and right and searching the parlor for someone who might be waiting for us. But what our eyes landed upon was an incredibly strange sight. The parlor was stained with blood. Damn, son, where'd you find this? No? This place where we spent almost the entire day, where we pressed in together to protect ourselves from some unknown malice, had been stained with fresh blood and become an ocean of blood. The floor lay Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, and Dr. Danjo. Their entire bodies stained bright red with the blood. The only way we could identify them was by their clothes. Because, that's right, this is how this whole tragedy started. Their faces, just like our smashed up parents in the shed, you couldn't tell where their eyes stopped, their noses began. So they'd been rudely plunged their faces in tomato pot pies, all squished up. That wasn't all. Their bodies had other wounds. There's those demon ice picks. They were in Genji-san's stomach, Dr. Nanjo's thigh, no, his knee. That's right, of course it's his knee. In the epitaph, the 6th twilight was the stomach, and on the 7th, the knee. So after seeing one of them stuck near Kumasawa Bachan's calf, I couldn't help but masochistically laughing. That's right. The 6th twilight gouged the stomach and kill. On the 7th twilight, gouged the knee and kill. On the 8th twilight, gouged the leg and kill. Maybe twilight meant, like, death, I guess?
Yeah.
Now even the 8th twilight is over. The next one, the 9th twilight, what was it again? Good question, Battler. Let's just check on that real quick.
None shall be left alive. The witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. Oh, fuck. That's now?
Oh, that's now. Maria was there. She was facing the wall in the inner part of the room, standing rock still, completely alone. I'm glad to know even this far in, like, this game isn't above using a creepy small girl trope.
Yeah.
She faced away from this horrible scene, standing by the wall, singing her song over and over. There was nothing else in the room, just the corpses of the 3 who had been brutally killed, and the phone receiver, which was still off its hook, proving that this was the room the call had come from. It's just that Maria, her back to the scene as she kept on singing while facing the wall. We couldn't even scream at this bizarre scene. We could only stare shocked with our mouths hanging loosely open. Maria? Jessica called out to her, but Maria showed no reaction. Alone, she kept singing on and on. We had come here trying to save Maria from some approaching danger, so now that we had found her, we should have been running up to Maria, hugging her, joyous that she was safe, and yet none of us could do that. Everyone thought it, but they couldn't say it. After all, because that's right, even if it's crazy, it couldn't be. Maria, stop singing, are you listening?
Oh.
At some point, Aunt Natsuhi and I had pointed our weapons at Maria's back. I yelled at Maria in a violent voice, but there was no reaction. She just kept singing. The candle stand still ready, and I ran up to her and forcefully, no, violently slammed my hand down on her shoulder. Then I pulled on her shoulder, forcing her to turn around. Ew, whoa, you're not SpongeBob. Ew. Maria's small body was quickly pulled down and fell. And, as though unhappy at having her singing interrupted, Maria looked into my face with her usual expression. Even in this gruesome situation, she was just like normal. Maria, what is this? Who did this? Ew, bitch. Cut that crap! I threw the candle stand I'd been holding against the wall. The violence of that reckless sound should have gone straight to Maria's. Has she been possessed this entire time then?
Perhaps.
So, because if this has been consistent with how she's been acting the entire time she's been on the island.
Yeah.
Does that mean she was possessed either when she got on or soon after?
Maybe. Or all along.
Or all along.
Quit it, Battler-kun. Maria-chan, this time you should have seen the face of the culprit who killed these
Battler,
3.
you poor summer child.
Was the culprit the same Beatrice who gave you the letter?
Ew, Beatrice.
Well, in that case, it's certain. There's a 19th person. Beatrice does exist. Then Maria, will you at least tell me this much? How did they kill these 3 people? What did they use to kill them in such a brutal way?
I don't know.
How could you not know? What happened in this room? Are you trying to tell me you were so absorbed in singing that you didn't notice?
Calm down, Battler-kun. Maria-chan, talk to me, okay?
George Aniki, as he always did, crouched down next to Maria so their eyes met and talked to her very kindly.
Maria-chan, why were you facing the wall and singing?
Ew, Beatrice said to face the wall and keep singing for a long time. Ooh.
So, did Beatrice come here? Were Genji-san and the rest still alive then?
Ew, everyone came into the parlor together and sat down. Genji said made sure to lock the door.
It was locked when we got here, but then how did Beatrice get into the parlor?
Ew, Beatrice is a witch, so locks don't matter. She turned into butterflies and came through the crack in the door.
Huh? Calling joking at a time like this? Like hell that happened. What are you saying?
You can't believe it. That's why I didn't want to say. No matter how I say it, you won't believe. But Beatrice is a witch. She can do anything with her miraculous magic. That's why Beatrice doesn't care whether a door is locked or not.
And then, after Beatrice appeared, what happened to everyone?
Beatrice talked to us. She said grandfather's study was protected by a powerful force. She couldn't enter no matter what she did. So she told us she'd select 3 sacrifices from the 4 people in the parlor. Everyone said, no way. Kumasama-san kept saying, no way, no way, no way. Oh. But Beatrice chose. And when she did, Beatrice said I'd be fine. Why do you think? Because the scorpion charm with the 5th magic circle of Mars. The one battle used to pray for my safety. The one he put his feelings into. Because of that power, Beatrice couldn't do anything to me. And me alone. She decided to use the other 3 as sacrifices. After that, Beatrice spoke.
Come, face the wall and sing a song for me. You will sing lots and lots of songs, so no matter what happens, no matter what you hear, you won't hear, you won't hear, you won't know. Come, sing lots of fun songs for me.
So I was singing the whole time. Over and over. So I didn't hear anything because I didn't know anything. And then you all came.
You asking us to believe that? You think we're stupid?
Then who will you suspect this time? Will you suspect me? Don't try killing me right here? If you do that, Beatrice won't stop existing. When the 8th twilight is over, and Beatrice will revive.
You serious? I've had enough of that talk. As if witches could exist, as if I'd let myself get tricked. I won't accept it. Beatrice doesn't exist. I definitely won't accept it. So I won't let her exist. I won't let her revive. The legend will remain a legend forever. I won't acknowledge something like that.
Quit it, Battler. It's not like Maria killed them or let them die. Beatrice came and Maria had to obey, was unable to resist. Huh?
Who cut out the BGM?
Aunt Natsuhi?
Oh, fuckles.
She isn't here.
What?
Mom, where did she go?
Just now, she left by herself reading a letter.
A letter?
Oh.
You could have maybe said something about... Okay, you know what? Maria's clearly not here to help us. That makes sense. The culprit might be so exhilarated now that we've reached the 8th twilight. We must have left a letter so they could brag even more. We were so wrapped up in questioning Maria that we forgot to look for a letter. But even as well-armed as she was, why had she left the room by herself in this dangerous mansion after reading it? Jessica tried to chase after her and tugged at the handle to the door, but it resisted strangely and wouldn't open.
Mom, what's going on? Open up.
It was only natural. Nazi had picked up the candle stand which Battler had thrown at the wall and which had fallen over to the floor. She then skillfully wedged it between the doorknobs and the double doors like a bolt, holding them closed. The intricate design of the candle stand caused it to get caught solidly, and it really did make a sturdy seal on the door. The tragic scream of a daughter for her mother. Did it reach Natsuhi's ears or not? So is now Natsuhi being...
Maybe.
Damn, I love this.
Hello.
Hello! So here's the thing. I really think there is going to be supernatural elements. I do think, as we've said all along, I think Beatrice is...
Yeah.
For reasons. However, even if it's not, I'm super interested in how they would play this all off. Then.
Yeah.
Like, if this is someone obfuscating the supernatural, I really want to hear the explanations. Natsuhi's figure was alone in the entrance hall. It was the place decorated by the portrait of Beatrice. Natsuhi threw down Beatrice's last letter, the one she had read in the parlor, readied her rifle again, and in that voice that rang clear, yelled in the massive space that was the entrance hall.
I am Ushiromiya Natsuhi, representative of the Ushiromiya family. Show yourself. Golden Witch, Beatrice.
The entrance hall was dimly lit. Other than a faint light which shone on the center of the room, everything was blotted out by the jet black darkness. In that darkness, butterflies glittering in gold squirmed, twinkled, and sneered. Natsuhi gave one more huge gulp and pointed the cold barrel of the gun at the gold butterflies.
So you have finally shown yourself. I still can't believe that something like you really exists. But that isn't a problem. Both I, who bear the title of representative to the Ushiromiya family, and you, who claim to succeed the headship of the Ushiromiya family, are here right now. At this point, whether you are a witch or not is a trivial matter. Come, let us settle this. Which of us will truly succeed the Ushiromiya family? I, Ushiromiya Natsuhi, or you, Beatrice? Allow me to respectfully accept your request for a duel.
Damn! Aunt Natsuhi's kind of hardcore. Also, I apologize again for the mouth sounds. I really gotta keep my throat soothed though.
I'll have you know, I've fought 30 duels and won all of them.
It would not surprise me if Aunt Natsuhi was just like, yeah, don't you worry now. I fought plenty of duels in my time. The gold butterfly slowly formed a human shape which walked into the dim light. Natsuhi readied the rifle and glared. The witch raised her golden staff overhead and laughed. Aunt Natsuhi's finger slowly squeezed the trigger. And go! Violet made an all-out dash at the door and rammed into it, crushing the candle stand that had been barring it, and making it possible for a big gap to be opened in the door. He kept kicking the candle stand through that gap, and the door was finally released. At that time, they heard it. They certainly heard the crisp sound of gunfire rung out once.
Mom! Mom! Jessica-chan, you mustn't run off by yourself.
Was that the sound of a gun just now? Did Aunt Natsuhi shoot? At whom? At the culprit? The noise had come from the entrance hall, and the entrance hall looked like a stage, like the heroine of a tragedy on the ground and bathed in light. Arrayed in the beauty of that silence, Aunt Natsuhi lay face up, crumpled on the floor. Damn it, Beatrice knows how to shine. Half crazed, Jessica ran up to Aunt Natsuhi. On Aunt Natsuhi's forehead, it was almost as though a sparkling shard of pigeon blood, ruby, had been placed there. And from it, one stream of blood makeup passed by her eye and began to traverse her face. The faint smell of gunpowder smoke came from the barrel of the rifle Aunt Natsuhi still grasped. Then, she shot herself in the forehead? Why?
Mom! 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 Yeah!
Don't get it. Why did Aunt Natsuhi run away alone, and why did she shoot through her own forehead?
Maria-chan.
I keep telling you, she knows how to use shine. It's just down B.
Aunt Natsuhi left the room after reading a letter, right? There's no letter here. Damn it, what did Aunt Natsuhi read, and why was she lured out here, and is it in the tips? It's not.
Yeah, no, not in the tips.
I don't know. Who cares about that? What the hell? Why did she kill herself? Why did she leave me all alone? Ah!
I don't think she could shoot a rifle like that into her own... The mechanics of that are very... Also, this music slaps!
Yeah.
Holy fuck! Oh, that last one. Jessica clung to her mother's corpse, crying earnestly. My body was consumed with an anger I didn't know what to do with, and I snatched the rifle from Aunt Natsuhi's hand. I spun around, pointing the barrel of the gun into the darkness on all sides, as though I was pointing a light from a lighthouse, trying to find the culprit. George Aniki, even in this situation, was trying to calmly figure something out, but that might have been a fruitless effort. And only Maria was completely indifferent. So this is all supposed to be some kind of predetermined fate? No, it's not it. This is all a prelude to a wonderful world. The door to the Golden Land will finally open.
Uh-oh.
The Golden Land's just gonna be the room with the one golden bar in it.
Yeah, maybe.
In the ninth twilight, the witch shall revive, and then shall be left alive. And on the 10th twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain the power of the Golden Land's feathered, once and for the last time. With this, everything is over, Beatrice. Congratulations. Congratulations. So lead me. Lead me to the Golden Land you told me of, right now.
You sure? None shall be left alive is still...
She seems fine with dying. She said as much.
There, all of the dead will be revived. And even lost love will be restored. So in Maria's eyes, it's just as though all of today's tragedies didn't happen. It's as though all the time she spent deprived of love never happened. Stop it. What's so fun? What's to be congratulated? There were 18 people on this island. 14 are dead. Only the 4 of us are left. I'm definitely not gonna die. Not until the night is over. No, until the typhoon passes and the seagulls gather again at the harbor. I'm definitely not going to die. I'll stay alive. I'll stay alive no matter what.
Give it up, Balder. Kills are useless against witches. They know how to shine. I keep telling you, it comes out like what, frame 2? It's really fast. Survival and all that stuff doesn't matter because it's over. The journey has already ended. See? Look at the clock.
Huh? Clock? Hearing those words, I looked at my wristwatch. Both needles were almost touching near the top. Very soon it will be 12 at midnight. In other words, 24 hours. When you think about it, isn't 24 a strange time? It can be called 24, it can also be called 0. We are at the culmination of the previous day, and at the same time, it's hour 0 as the next day begins. Beatrice! Oh,
Beatrice!
Maria suddenly called out and happily ran towards the darkness. It's almost as though Beatrice was somewhere in that darkness and Maria was running up to her. As Jessica hugged her mother's corpse, as George Onegi stood there confused, I looked down at the barrel of the rifle, gazing into the darkness. The space in front of Beatrice's portrait lay in that direction. The thing Maria was running up to was the portrait's subject. Gotta be kidding me, this is just impossible. Like, I'd fall for something like this. Witches don't exist, I won't accept it. Something like you shouldn't exist because this is a human world. You think I could accept something that's not human? I definitely won't accept it. When I pulled hard on the rifle's lever, the cartridge was ejected, fell on the floor, and a new cartridge was loaded. Then I sighted the witch down the barrel. Maria turned around. Still clinging to the golden witch, she turned around.
Didn't I tell you it's meaningless? Mere lead bullets are meaningless against Beatrice. Humans are so stupid, aren't they?
I won't accept the existence of witches. Who are you? Just try moving one step, just try moving one finger. I'll blast you away. There's the witch. No, the witches laughed. Even the large clock in the hall joined in on their laughter. It was probably telling us that the time was 2400. It was both a tone telling us that we had reached the culmination of this day, and a tone informing us that all had returned to nothing. The rule that the witch would win when time ran out had already been revealed.
Badler, George Nichan, and Jessica. The journey has ended and the witch has revived, see?
And none shall be left alive. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold from the golden land. One shall be the resurrection of all the dead souls. One shall be the resurrection of the love that was lost, and one shall be to put the witch to sleep for all time. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch, Beatrice.
What?
That's where that
the
ends?
Fuck.
That's where they're ending it?
What the fuck?
They're ending it there? Oh, damn, son. Oh,
now?
damn.
Where do we even go from here?
I don't know. It's a great question.
Credits roll?
Credits roll?
Okay.
The storm passed, and the leaden clouds that enshrouded the island for so long cleared away. From the rifts between the clouds, sunbeams shone, and yesterday's storm seemed like a lie. Just as someone had wished, the seagulls returned to the harbor once again and let their lively cries be heard. Afterwards, the police came and conducted an investigation of the scene. The corpses of the children who were thought to have survived until the very end were never found. However, because of the body parts that were discovered and unimaginably gruesome nature of the scene, police were forced to conclude that the chances of survival for any of the 18, even the children, seemed hopelessly dim.
Well, fuck.
Just how gruesome was the banquet of the witch, and how beautiful was the Golden Land. They were the only ones who got to hear that tale. No tales were told to those humans who arrived after the banquet was over. The best they could do was imagine what might have happened during those 2 days. However, the witch was fickle. She made a point of leaving behind this tale which didn't need to be heard, and was allowed to spread. Then many years later, a strange wine bottle that had drifted on the waves to the pier of a neighboring island was pulled out by a fisherman. Inside was a thin, lightly rolled notebook fragment, written upon in cramped small letters. Written there was this tale. Though this notebook fragment, people will finally learn the truth of the mysterious and riddle-filled 2-day period that started on October 4th, 1986. This incident was later called by many names such as the Rokkenjima mass murders, or the 18 killings of Rokkenjima, though dilettantes from around the world knew it as the witch legend serial murders. The lovers of the occult claim it was all the result of an immoral ceremony that had sealed off the island, and those 2 mysterious days were savagely embellished with many different interpretations as the story began to spread far and wide. However, not one of these interpretations approached the truth. Furthermore, while the notebook fragment describes the mysterious incident, it does not reveal the truth of what happened here. Or perhaps even the writer didn't know what the truth was. According to the writer, her name was Ushiromia Maria. Incidentally, as a result of an all-out police investigation of part of Maria's body, a piece of her jaw was discovered. It's one of the rare instances where a corpse was identified thanks to dental records. At that gruesome scene, there had been many body parts that couldn't be identified as belonging to any specific person, so probably fair to say that this jaw was an extremely fortunate find. Because this jaw had been separated from its body, the police judged her chances of survival to be hopelessly dim, even though none of her other body parts were found, or at least identified. And so let us conclude this tale with the final section of the notebook fragment that Ushiromia Maria left behind. By the time you have read that,
they'll probably be dead. But there may or may not be a corpse. If you have read this, please find out the truth. That's my only wish. It's Romeo and Maria.
Well, fuck.
to this very day, the truth of the witch-led and serial murders has not been brought to light. First game, Legend of the Golden Witch, result.
Okay.
What do you mean result? We had no agency.
The stake of Asmodeus, the stake of Beelzebub, interesting.
Mammon,
They have
stake of Satan,
names.
stake of Lucifer, stake of Belphegor, stake of Leviathan. Opens the door to the Golden Hand. Natsuhi died in the which praised for my nobility and granted her the honor of a duel. Nice! Natsuhi is fucking badass to the end. After he acknowledged the existence of the witch and prostrated himself, the witch invited him to the Golden Land. Acknowledged the existence of the witch, prostrated herself, the witch invited her to the Golden Land. And the witch invited Maria to the Golden Land. Badler, missing on the 10th twilight. Will the witch invite this man who denied her existence to the Golden Land? Oh, so everyone except Badler acknowledged her existence and was invited to the Golden Land.
Interesting.
The witch will praise the wise and should bestow 4 treasures on the Golden Land. There, they chose to revive the souls of the dead and love that had been lost. After all, no matter how large a mountain of gold they might have desired, it wouldn't have been out of their grasp. George chose his lost fiancée. Jessica chose the boy she had liked and lost. Maria chose the lost love of her mother. Sleep peacefully, Beatrice. Let nothing disturb your slumber ever again. The winner is Golden Witch Beatrice. The time ran out before even one of the 18 people could solve the riddle of the gold. All 18 died. When the singles cried, none were left alive. What the fuck?
What the fuck indeed?
We had no agency, though. How is it giving us
It's telling us what happened. That is a result. It didn't say it was a result of our actions.
Okay, fine.
It's a result of their actions.
Son of a bitch! What the fuck?
So, where do you think we go from here?
Honestly, fucking great. Natsuhi goes out in a duel.
Yeah.
So presumably then those 3 got to go to the Golden Land with the loved ones that they
Oh.
Addition of new features. The Golden Witch has prepared a gift for you in commemoration of your stay. You can find these new features on the title screen.
Thank you, Golden Witch.
Thank you. What the fuck?
Tea party?
Oh, I love FE3H.
What?
What? Okay, we haven't unlocked episode 2 yet, so episode 1 isn't over yet.
Yeah, I guess we gotta...
I guess we do this next time? Do we want to do this right? I don't know how long of a commitment this is. Do we want to try this right now?
I don't know, maybe.
It's up to you. Do we want to jump in and do this?
Let's see what happens.
Episode 1 Tea Party. Purgatorio? The fuck? Oh, we're like Bayonetta now. I get it. Hey everyone, finished! Congrats on finishing Umineko no Nakukoro ni. Man, I still didn't have a clue what was going on when the story ended.
So, just what happened? Was that basically the bad ending, where time runs out before the culprit gets exposed?
Definitely bad ending.
That's right. Beatrice's letter, which Maria-chan read on the first day, did tell us in advance to solve the riddle of the epitaph. We were all so busy trying to protect ourselves and look for the culprit that we didn't even take a shot at it. That's right. Also, I started smoking again.
Wait.
If we had actually tried to solve the riddle, maybe things would have ended differently.
Is episodes 2 through 4 just variations on the same story? I wonder about that. Is that what this is? Is that why you told me not to look up anything about Higurashi first?
Maybe.
Shadow-chan, you did a good job too. You don't have to be our waitress and serve tea. After all, this is a rap party. As a group of people who met a horrible fate, let's all get along and lick each other's wounds.
Wow, gross.
Licky, licky.
Speaking of a horrible fate, Shannon beats the rest of us hands down, doesn't she? She was such a beautiful character, so I thought she'd definitely survive until the very end. But she was killed right in the beginning, and on top of that, what was it? Half of her face was smashed, right? That's the worst. That was my role, so there was no way around it.
Nesan, there's nothing for you to worry about. Judging by the last epilogue, even Milady and the rest of them made an extremely tragic end.
Haha, seems so. I think I remember seeing this horrible picture, kind of like my entire body had been eaten apart and dismembered.
Speaking of which, don't you think Cannon's last moments were the coolest? Even though he had the tables turned on him, it was a showdown with the culprit, right? It's a whole bunch better than our confusing last moments, right? Though in the end I was unable to get a soul and hidden.
Still, I think Cannon-kun's death was a big hint. After all, because of that, the existence of the 19th person was made clear.
You know, I'm really disappointed that none of you took the opportunity to investigate the thing that pulled out of my body.
That's right. At that time, everyone's location was obvious. So it was impossible for anyone other than some unknown 19th person to kill Cannon.
Which?
You said with Beatrice from the beginning, over and over.
Yeah, we were on, I don't think we were on Maria's side, but...
I don't want to believe it, but that does prove the culprit was a witch calling herself Beatrice. That's right. There were many strange things that happened that a human couldn't do.
Only a witch could do things like murdering Aunt Ava in the closed room. A human couldn't do it.
Not only is the existence of a 19th person clear, but it's also obvious that this person holds a power that humans can't even imagine.
In that case, I don't think there's anything wrong with calling this person Beatrice. We probably met at the very end. Met with the Golden Witch.
You, like I kept saying, Beatrice exists. It all went bad because no one ever believed. Even one of her witch friends says that miracles won't occur if you don't believe.
Witch friends?
Oh. Wait, so does that mean, like, the way that... So, if I'm right, in that episodes, in that the next episodes are all variations on the same story, but with things going differently, does that mean that, like, we get... Does that mean one of them's gonna start out with, like, what if instead of trying to just save themselves the whole time, they actually operate from the assumption that Beatrice does exist? And how does that change things?
That's right. Beatrice-sama is generous to those who respect her.
Seems to me that Maria-sama was never targeted Beatrice-sama's wrath, till the very end, despite the horrible crimes that occurred one after another.
Well, Maria believed in Beatrice from the very beginning. But if that's the case, how do you explain why you and the rest were all killed? You guys believed in Beatrice just as much, right?
Beatrice-sama probably had her reasons.
If the Song of the Epitaph represented Beatrice-sama's resurrection ceremony, many sacrifices were needed. He must simply have been designated to be one of those. Shannon-chan, you met a horrible end. At the very least, I wish your death could have been more peaceful and pretty. Well, it's not like it hurt. Anyway, right now I'm perfectly fine, so don't worry.
Isn't Rosa also supposed to be here? After seeing him stroke Shannon-chan's cheek, which had been crushed during the story, everyone laughed out loud, smiling.
Well, it feels a bit weird saying this, but I was sure that this story would fit into the standard mystery genre. I'm a bit surprised to find out that it's a fantasy.
Which?
After all, a Western mansion shut away from the outside world on an isolated island with an inheritance problem on everyone's minds. It sounds just like a typical mystery novel to me.
It's not fantasy. Beatrice exists.
Yes, we understand. Beatrice-sama does exist.
That's right. Beatrice-sama does exist.
So at what point are they going to turn to the camera and start going, congratulations. Congratulations.
I hate to admit it, but I've got no choice, because it's obvious that a 19th person, a witch, was involved. Many things happened that'd be impossible for humans. During the story, we tried to deny that in all sorts of ways, but now I can say it for sure. Each crime, every single one, would have been impossible for a human. They'd be impossible to carry out unless it was the witch Beatrice using all of the power magic could provide. The culprit was a witch. That point's perfectly clear. Long live Beatrice. Ha 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 ha.
Everyone believed. I'm so glad.
Gods and witches might seem terrifying to people who are frightened of them, but I think they must be affectionate to those who believe in and respect them.
I think you're right.
So this murder case game is finally over. Now's the time to pull ourselves together and try hard to solve the riddle of the epitaph, just like Beatrice said, right?
I agree. Beatrice would definitely be happy.
Everyone ignored that letter during the story. Even though it was thrust right in front of us, we almost completely ignored it. I kind of feel sorry for Beatrice-sama.
I got the epitaph written down right here. Let's all solve it. Let's all solve it.
This story probably went wrong ever since that time. That may be so. Maybe we should have tried solving the epitaph's riddle from the beginning, like Beatrice said. Well, it's a little late now. Even so, let's try solving it now and see if the witch forgives us. Let's go, let's try to solve the riddle of the epitaph.
Oh, because they're all in purgatory.
It was something like, behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown.
Maria put her notebook on the table and opened up to the page where the epitaph was written. Everyone stared at it, getting ready, reeling into it as they started guessing this and that about the riddle. Surrounded by the smell of black tea and freshly baked vanilla cookies, they spent the time comfortably and happily. Hold on a second, you guys. But Vader spoke in a way that cut through the conversation. His expression looked a little unhappy. What could he not like about all this fun? I've been listening to you guys for a while now, but why did you all stop thinking? Why are you all so sure that the witch was behind this? Did you realize that something like that can't exist? With just those words, the happy atmosphere surrounding the tea party evaporated in an instant. George and Jessica, and Shannon and Cannon, and Maria, all of them stared blankly, wondering what in the world Battler was talking about. Even the foolish, arrogant Battler realized that he hadn't chosen his words well.
Because, isn't it clear that these crimes were impossible for a human? That's right, that's right. None of the cases would have been possible for a human. That's true. After all, wasn't it full of things that humans couldn't explain?
I don't understand what you're saying, Battler-sama. I'm the one who doesn't have a clue what you guys are talking about. Isn't it obvious that humans committed these crimes? There's no way something like a witch exists, right?
Then, what about when I was killed in the storehouse and something horrible was done to half of my face? If the culprit was human, how could they have accomplished it?
Well, it's hard to imagine how they did something that awful, but that was the Rose Garden storehouse, right? I'm sure there are plenty of weird tools in there. Say they used some electrical tools, like a grinder or an electric saw.
That's, Then Battler. How do you explain Grandfather's disappearance from the study when it was a closed room? Even though the door was sealed, Grandfather just suddenly disappeared, right?
Window? We talked about that during the story too. It's not impossible that Grandfather used some trick to fool the receipt. It's also possible that he went out the window, fell down, and not so he locked the window from the inside. I can think of a bunch of tricks you could use without relying on magic.
That makes sense, but... in that case, Battler-kun, how do you explain the way my parents were killed in the guest room? The door was sealed by the lock and the chain. Naturally, the window was sealed too. How do you think a human could have killed my parents?
With a magnet. Well, we did have to leave that trick alone during the story. Anyway, there's at least a good chance the culprit had a key, and it was possible to look in through the crack of the door with the chain loud. I know this is a stretch, but it's possible some device was used through that crack. And maybe they stuck something through it? Like a magnet? No? Still no? Okay. Even while the door chain is incredibly simple, it's a big factor in setting up a closed room. So there's probably some closed room trick they could have used. You brought some closed room mystery novels from the bookstore, you could probably find some trick that fit perfectly. Anyway, I can't think of one now, but I claim that there's nothing humans can't do if they try hard enough.
Isn't that argument horribly irrational? It's just ridiculous to claim that it's possible for a human to do something, even though you can't explain how.
Also, we're in purgatory.
Literal purgatory.
Why is that ridiculous? Why did all of you stop thinking? Even something that looks impossible has to be doable. Doesn't it always work like that?
Battler, you're the one being ridiculous. If you think a human could have done it, try explaining how. You can't, can you?
Is it going to be Battler retelling the story about and going through the motions he thought the killer would have taken?
Maybe.
And you're okay with just saying the culprit is a witch just because I can't explain it? With that argument, all the unsolved crimes of the world would be resolved by saying a witch is the culprit.
Ooh, sure would.
Whoa.
Battler, you're sidestepping the issue, and you aren't explaining anything. You're saying a human couldn't have done it. Therefore, the culprit is something that isn't human. And that something is a witch. And you keep arbitrarily deciding that witches are impossible, even though you can't explain anything.
To be fair, that is a much more cogent phrasing of what their point. Okay, yeah.
It's almost like humanity was during the Dark Ages. Like those fools who claimed the heavens spun around the earth. Those who said the earth couldn't be spinning even though they couldn't explain why.
That kind of argument pisses me off. So this is basically what you're trying to say. If I can't explain how a human could do it, then I must accept that the culprit is a witch? Not like we're forcing you to go that far. Just wondering on what basis you could say such nonsense. Nonsense? Hey. Have I really been saying something that weird just now? Am I the one who's crazy? You guys are really starting to freak me out. Atlas, Alma. When I died in the boiler room, I was killed by a 19th person who shouldn't exist. Can you explain how a human could have done that? At least at that time, the locations of the 18 were well known. Even so, I was killed. We talked about it in the story as well, right? Kumasawa Ba-chan, for example. She said she followed right after you and headed down to the boiler room, but we can't know for sure whether that was a lie or not. For all we know, she might have entered the boiler room with you and caught you by surprise. Or maybe when you stopped into the boiler room, you activated some kind of trap, one that might have been set up to hit you with one of those ice picks. And also, this is very important, I think we should mention this, not all the killers have to be the same person.
Yeah.
This could be multiple people. After all, the stink of the grandfather's body was coming from the incinerator. Someone was bound to go and check, so if the culprit just set up a trap beforehand, they could have easily stayed away from that place and used the time of Kanon-kun's death to create an alibi.
You talk about a trap in the boiler room, but what kind of trap could that be? That's right. Following his death, everyone immediately ran over to the boiler room, but we didn't find any kind of weird device, did we?
That's correct. Badla-sama, what kind of trap could I have been killed with? Well, I don't know that. But anyway, they must have used some kind of clever trap, or maybe someone's lying. Or what about this? Kanon-kun, what if the whole thing was just you play acting? That's it, you were play acting. Unable and Uncle Hideyoshi were also play acting. They made the closed room themselves and were only pretending to be dead.
Battler, has your head been, feeling okay? Should I bring some cold drinks?
Don't look at me with those pitying eyes. I'm not saying something that crazy, right? Just pointing out some possibilities you might find if you think of it all as a trick. Look, it's a pretty classic trick in mystery stories to have one of the victims just be playing dead.
A classic trick.
In other words, when Kanon-kun was killed, we knew for sure where all the rest of us were. And let's assume that Kumasawa Ba-chan wasn't lying. That's only counting the survivors. Or if the culprit pretended to be dead and joined a group of real victims, so we lose track of them and then acted on their own later. Everything would be explained. For example, Kinzo. They identified his body by the key that supposedly only he had, but there's no way for them to identify the bones as being his.
And the supernumerary digits, but he could have kidnapped somebody else with supernumerary digits.
Yeah, like, it's uncommon, but it's not, singular. Huh? Is she trying to say that Aunt Ava or one of the others was the culprit? But didn't Dr. Nanjo confirm all their deaths as a doctor? That's right. Dr. Nanjo checked all the victims. Badler-sama, for your theory to work, wouldn't Dr. Nanjo also have to be one of the culprits too? Yeah, that's right. Once you consider that Dr. Nanjo might have been one of the culprits and faked the proclamation of death, the whole story changes. See, that's also a classic trick in mystery novels, isn't it?
But Dr. Nanjo was also killed, right?
How that? That's right, Dr. Nanjo faked his death. He faked his death! After all, there wasn't anyone except Dr. Nanjo who could examine corpses properly. Everyone else was really confused then anyway. We didn't have any spare time to check and see if he still had a pulse. With this theory, any one of the dead people could have been walking around.
I think it would have been hard for the 6 of us who died in the beginning to do that. After all, the shutter was closed, and there was a padlock that couldn't have been opened from the inside.
Yeah, but you were in a tool shed with a whole bunch of tools. And just a flimsy wall, and like maybe some earth beneath you.
That's right. Mom was holding on to that key, so was Mom one of the culprits too?
Also, I totally believe that Beatrice is actually real in this story, but I love trying to figure out the ways that these could have happened without.
Yeah. What's more, Beatrice is totally in the room here, and the only reason we can't see her is because Battler is the viewpoint character and doesn't believe.
Yeah, pretty much. Wait a second. Wait, I'm kidding, because shouldn't Rosa also be here, though, is the thing?
I don't know that that's the case. She said her mother's love. She didn't say to bring back her mother, necessarily.
That's true. Wait a sec. Maybe it's impossible for the first 6, but in the case of Aniki's parents, the door was only locked on the outside. So they could have opened it from the inside. That's right, after we left the room, maybe they jumped out the window and got to the boiler room first. Is that too much of a stretch? Or maybe Dr. Nanjo made a mistake when examining the corpses? Look, he said it himself, right? He said that there's a very high probability of making a mistake when examining corpses. If you disguised it well enough or prepared a substitute body, you could fake your own death. Let's see the method or trick they use for later, and you see it's not that hard to deny a 19th person existed, right? Much less a witch, right? At least that much is completely impossible.
I don't know why you've been trying so stubbornly to say that one of us is the culprit. In other words, you want to suspect one of your own relatives?
That's not it. It's just that I can't easily accept that a 19th person existed. And even if one did, I think we should construct our argument from the point of view that the culprit was a human. I'll only accept that it's a witch in desperation at the very end, after everything else has been disproven. There's no way witches exist, right? Why has everyone been so casually accepting that the culprit was a witch? I think it's great how your family love makes you hate the thought that someone close to you is a murderer. But is it okay to let that fool you? Don't you want to find the detestable culprit who killed so many people? Aniki, don't you want to avenge your parents? Jessica, don't you want to avenge Kanan-kun? And Kanan-kun, don't you want to avenge Shannon-chan? Shannon-chan, you should at least want to know who it was that killed you. Why is everyone totally surrendered and decided that the culprit was a witch?
Because we're literally in fucking purgatory.
What's wrong with all of you? The foolish and short-tempered battler tried to force his ignorance on the others and yelled at them. However, everyone just looked at him pityingly, silently watching over him. At that time, the wise Maria laughed and pointed out Battler's mistake.
Shocked. All I see is you repeating this nonsense, thinking you figured something out, Battler. So? What's next? How would a human do it? In practical terms, I mean. Mind you, always say, I just can't think of anything now, or with some kind of device. Using abstract words to run away and evade the topic. What I really want to know, Battler, is this. Why don't you believe in Beatrice? She exists, so why don't you believe?
Because she doesn't exist. Witches don't exist. There's no way. It's almost like a spoiled child who just doesn't want to accept something. The pitying gaze is quietly closed in around Battler. I just realized it's not Battler narrating. It's probably Beatrice battling.
Maybe.
Narrating. Sorry, but I'm gonna keep narrating just for consistency. But they didn't reach his stubborn heart.
You realize that you're acting just like a spoiled brat throwing a tantrum, right?
Did you read my narration?
What?
That's almost exactly what it was just narrated.
Battler-sama, I understand your feelings, but...
Beatrice does exist.
Battler-kun, why don't you believe? Even though there's so much proof.
Maybe this is Battler's purgatory.
Oh, it... Just Battler's hell.
Yeah, Battler's personal hell.
Yep.
No, not hell, purgatory. Yeah, the Battler's Hell I think would be different, but maybe, I don't know, that might... I don't accept the argument that the witch must have been behind everything just because I can't explain it. Does this mean if you don't know how a light bulb shines, then magic is the cause? That's wrong, isn't it? There's nothing that can't be explained without magic. All of this about witches and magic is just abdication of thought. You just surrendered and gave up because you didn't understand what happened. Isn't that right?
Well, unsurprisingly, looks like you alone won't believe no matter what, Battler. Even if a single person doesn't believe, the miracle won't occur. If you want me to think your ignorant theories, the miracle, magic won't be completed.
Now I see. I finally figured it out. So in other words, you guys are trying to force me to say the witch exists, right? The lie that everyone accepts becomes the truth. Is that what this is all about? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I keep going on about this, but what you're doing is all useless. I refuse. You guys are all pressing me, and that's why it's all useless.
Hey!
Sorry, but why don't you let me spin around the chessboard one last time, assuming my voice won't give out here. If you want to force me to accept that there's a witch, there's a really, really easy way. And it's not the indirect way of saying, it must be some because witch, because you be good at it. All you have to do is show me a witch doing it with magic. Furthermore, what Maria said earlier is what'll really dig her grave. She said that even if one person doesn't believe, a miracle won't occur. But real miracles happen whether people believe in them or not. Even if I alone don't believe. So any miracles or magic or witches that exist only because I believe in them are downright lies. The uneasy mood following Battler's ignorant rant was blown away by a very soft and light laugh. Whose laugh? Battler was surprised. He had never heard that voice before. When he looked at George and Jessica, at Shannon and Cannon and Maria, he noticed that they had suddenly gone respectfully silent.
Hey!
So, it's me, Beatrice.
Beatrice, how's your smoking habit?
How amusing. I haven't met such a charming human for quite some time.
What? Who? What? Who the fuck are you?
Don't you even know the host of the tea party you were invited to? How amusing indeed.
What? This is Beatrice-sama, the Golden Witch who has lived for 1,000 years.
It is an honor to be graced with your presence, Beatrice-sama. Please forgive Battler-kun's ranting. This guy's just stubborn, and he still doesn't understand the situation he's in. What a treat this is. Most witches get tired of living after the first 1,000 years. How nice is it to meet a man with backbone such as yourself every once in a while?
It's quite an honor to be present when Beatrice tells yourself, Battler.
How? What? Astonishing! Are you really that desperate to make me believe that a witch, that a 19th person is the culprit? This is starting to get interesting. And it's all useless. You must be the illusion that Maria and the others call the witch, Beatrice. And you'll only be allowed to exist if everyone believes it. And you have that kind of half-existence, right? That's why you want me to make me believe too. You can't exist because I alone don't believe in you. Isn't that right?
Your powers of comprehension aren't bad for a mere commoner who knows nothing of magic. Yes, it seems you were born with a strong magic-resisting power.
I told you so. I told you that.
You're a natural enemy of us witches. No matter how much we turn your world upside down, you never believe in us. Therefore, the magic won't succeed. I accept that attitude of yours.
I got no clue what you're saying. Very kind of you to go all the trouble of showing yourself to us, but I don't believe you exist in the slightest. It's true that many strange things happened during those last 2 days. Like Maria said earlier, even though I think all the tricks could be explained, I still can't lay out the practical details of each one. However, that doesn't mean I'll surrender. I'm different from the rest of them. Got it? I'll never accept that it was the work of a witch just because I can't explain it.
This keeps getting more amusing. Making you surrender will be worth my while. You're just the kind of man I'd like to force into praising my name, if you know what I mean. I'd love to try making a man like you kiss my toes.
Wait, what? What? What are those? Was it like the others?
Do you want to talk nonsense? Talk all you want. I deny you exist. I'll explain all these events with humans and tricks. There's no room for even a speck of magic or witches.
Wonderful. What a perfect way to divert oneself from 1,000 years of boredom. Then let me ask you, a short while ago you said that using the crack in the door would be sufficient to kill Eva and Hideyoshi, right? Explain how they could have been killed using some human trick.
Suddenly jumping right to the toughest part, are you? Does that mean this is the trick you're proudest of? Miss Real Culprit? With the shake of her golden pipe, gentle multicolored smoke trailed out of the attic. The smoke quickly obscured their surroundings, and they were suddenly in the hallway of the mansion. The door in front of them, slightly open but secured by the chain, was... That's right, it's the door to the room where Ava and Hideyoshi were killed. Nice trick.
Very well. Show me what you would do through this small crack, Battler.
Yeah. They probably had some device to shoot those ice picks. They used that.
How would they reach Ava over on the bed when you can't see that far through this crack? And, how would they reach Hideyoshi in the bathroom with the door shut?
Am I just wrong for thinking it could have been a magnet?
I don't know.
For the door chain? I really think...
They hadn't discovered magnets yet. It was the 80s.
Damn, there's a crack. Should be some way.
If you can't think of one, allow me.
Oh? How would a witch do it? Come on, let's see your little trick.
Father, you're being rude to the baby.
How nice, how nice. What a charming man. That will make it even more fun to force him into submission.
What? You really want to make me kiss your toes that much? Only if I surrender. Watch. I'll definitely expose this trick, and then I'll make you kiss mine.
What a delightful man.
Can I have a hit of your pipe?
Yeah.
Whoa!
I know, right?
What do you put in there?
He beats me. I'll remember that promise. Weak witches kiss the behinds of demons to gain power, because there's no more humiliating oath. Just being told that makes me want to force you into surrender.
Paying no mind to Battler's worthless ranting, Beatrice once again shook the golden pipe. That's right. The golden pipe was her precious magic cane.
Come arise, children. I am the guide of purgatory. Forgive the deadly sins and hold the 7 states.
You just said that excited to be here.
1,000 years. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, alright. Listen to any good music? Like in the past,
Just this organ song.
in the past 1,000 years, what was the best singular piece of music?
It's this one that's still going.
Oh, it's alright.
Guided by those magic words, which sounded like a command, 7 stakes gathered. There were stakes of the 7 demons, symbolizing the deadly sins of sinful people. Oh, that's why they were named.
Beelzebub and Asmodeus, come forgive the sins. Release the spirits of the sinners.
What? Pix of Beelzebub and Asmodeus responded to Beatrice's call. The 2 stakes of the demons were sucked in through the crack of the door like billiard balls struck by a cue stick. And several scattered noises refracted through the wall, making a sound like a woodpecker. And at the end, a pleasant sound could be heard. It was a small, satisfying sound, like one had heard when one is chopping firewood and the falling axe easily slices through the wood. The sound of the 2 picks burying themselves deep into Ava and Hideyoshi's foreheads.
Right down the middle.
Oh my god.
Wanna see?
My voice is gonna die. They definitely heard 2 sounds like a pair of foreheads being split open. Oh. No, my cough drop. You. Badler wasn't permitted to see it since he was on the other side of the door. But those 2 had died again, and this second time they lay not an inch apart from where they had lain the last time. The exact same blood spray as before. You moron. It's insane. I think you can just kill them like that?
I mean, it worked. I can kill them.
Can I try?
No.
Do you have like, oh, is it like a spirit gun? Can I do like a Yu Yu Hakusho thing?
I can kill them just like this.
Oh. I just thought an even better way they might do it. Are they going to replay the same scenario, but this time Beatrice is going to challenge Battler to do it in a way a human could to recreate everything?
Maybe.
And Battler's going to be the one that has to kill everyone in the way that...
We'll see.
Suddenly, they were no longer in the hall, but seated at the tea party they had started from. Everyone but Battler was sitting meekly, but Cannon was moaning, fresh blood dangling from his mouth. What a rude thing to do at a tea party. Satan's stake was buried deep into Cannon's chest. Oh, my druthers. Cannon-kun! Cannon-kun! Damn it! Battler was the only one getting agitated. George, Jessica, Shannon, everyone else was meekly hanging their heads like students being yelled at by their teacher.
Cannon was captivated by a trifling anger and tried to disturb my banquet. Being easily captivated by anger even, is your deadly sin.
Anglers?
Cleanse yourself, repent, and do it over.
Beatrice-sama.
Beatrice-sama, please forgive him. I think Cannon-kun has repented enough. Wonderful, I am generous to those who respect me.
I love how you're making her sound so fucking bored to be here. So like... These assholes. Don't screw with me. Do you think I'll accept your existence because of this cheap act? Like hell you're a 1,000-year-old witch. Your tricks aren't 1,000 years old. They're just the sum of a century of classic tricks from the mystery genre. There's no such thing as magic. Definitely not. All of the crimes can be explained with humans and tricks.
You would explain my 1,000 years with 100 years of humans. Good, good. This is precisely why I've taken a liking to you.
Really? It just seems like I'm being an obstinate asshole.
Foolish Battler.
Cut it out, Battler-kun. You can't go against the witch.
Shannon started moaning, holding her cheek. Maybe she had a toothache, but apparently it wasn't a toothache after all. Slight redness spread across the cheek Shannon was holding. Looked like that redness was causing Shannon unbearable pain. Fingers were pressing against her cheek and drops of sweat appeared all over her body.
Shannon, hang in there, hang in there.
What's going on? Damn it, what the hell is that red stuff? Expanded rapidly, covering half of Shannon's face. Then the stupid dunce Battler finally realized.
Please, Battler-kun, please believe in Beatrice. I beg you. Because you won't believe, the magic is dissolving.
For the first time in his life, Battler heard that sound like a pomegranate splitting. The red spray even landed on Battler's face. Poor Shannon's face had been split in half, and our last horrible moments in that storehouse were repeated once again.
Shannon!
Because Battler won't believe the magic holding them in purgatory is fucking up?
Yep.
Damn it! Stop it! Don't humiliate the dead! Don't humiliate the dead, you asshole! This time, the redness spread across George's entire body. It's like the beautiful cloud drawn by milk when it's poured into black tea. Spread out and extended across his entire body. As it did, it seemed to give George increasingly greater pain. Looking at this bizarre spectacle, Battler was petrified as he frantically thought with his pitifully clumsy imagination at the nature of this strange death George and the rest were experiencing. Eventually, that redness reached the nearby Jessica as well. Stop it! What did Aniki do? What did Jessica do? Just stop it!
Battler, don't let the witch break your spirit. Deny her. Erase her. As long as at least one person denies her, she's an illusion that can't exist.
Are you okay, Jessica? What? Aniki? George was no longer recognizable as human. Looked like the pile of leftover meat after the good delicious meat that had been scraped off to be cooked. The only thing that even resembled a human was the shape of his lower jaw and rib cage. It was clear that Jessica, who was covered with a steadily strengthening redness, was approaching the same fate.
Ew. Rather. Quickly believe in Beatrice. If you don't, everyone's magic will dissolve.
Maria, it's all... Oh, that's... Oh.
Maria! Whoa, sorry, I had someone else's voice there for a moment. It's all over your body, too!
I revive all the dead with my magic, but as long as you don't believe, that magic will hold no true power. But I'm sure that a man like yourself won't surrender to something like this, right?
Battler!
Wait,
who is this? Probably one of your voices.
Battler, we didn't want to doubt our friends. We refused to face reality and gave in to the witch. But Battler, you won't give in to the witch. Ugh.
Jessica! Poor Jessica met the same end. Just like George, she wound up being like a butcher's leftovers. George and Jessica were now so destroyed, melted, and mixed up it was impossible to tell them apart.
Battler, don't cry. Beatrice will destroy the dead over and over. There's nothing to be sad about. So even if we die, we'll still just fine.
The redness began eating into the whole of Maria's body. Foolish Battler watched and screamed. I won't forgive you. I'll never forgive you. A witch? Magic? I'll risk my body and soul to deny you. No matter what happens, I can't accept you. Now that you've gone so far as to piss me off, I'll never forgive you. I won't forgive, I definitely won't forgive you. You regret making me, Ushiromi, a Battler, your enemy. I'll deny you no matter what, no matter how baffling things get. It can all be explained by humans. And I'll erase every cell of you from this world.
Well said. Battler, was it? That's just the thing to divert me from my 1,000 years of boredom. Come explain. Try explaining it all with humans and tricks. And learn how lowly humans are. Let's see if what humanity has built up in 100 years can oppose my 1,000 years. That's what will make forcing you to submit so pleasant. So tell me, you who call yourself Battler, what about Maria's letter? How the 6 were killed? The shutter? The receipt seal? The closed room with the chain? Cannon in the boiler room? Genji and the others in the lounge? Natsuhi's suicide? The riddle of the epitaph? The location of the hidden gold? Yes, Battler, why don't you show me the power of humans?
Ah!
Interesting.
They are gonna replay it, and it's gonna
Yep.
be Battler needing to. Battler's gonna take the place of the killer in this one, right?
Maybe.
And he's gonna have to go through and kill and make it and have the same Oh my god!
We'll fucking see.
I can't read any of these credits, I'm sorry.
Yeah, me neither.
I love how very stylized these credits are, though.
I also love how I fucking called it that Beatrice was there in the room at that time.
Yeah.
And that only Battler couldn't see.
Oh, thank you, Hats Unlimited. I love unlimited hats.
Yeah. Personally, I usually stop at 1 hat.
I've gone to 3 hats before. God, I hope this soundtrack is available on like iTunes or something. I gotta get this. You know, we're letting the credits run.
Yeah.
Like, they earned this. Like, fucking let them have their moment here.
Oh, 5PB.
Oh, nice. I know them. The 5 powered in basics.
All right.
Wow. Is that...
I think it is.
Oh, yes. Oh, I am so delighted by this.
Let's...
So we're not going to start the next one, so we won't know. Something has been added.
We'll see. We'll see next time.
We're not going to investigate any further. We'll see you all next time for whatever happens next. Bye, everyone.
that, like, comment and subscribe.